Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, and welcome back to our weekly Mystic Moments. I hope that you enjoyed the Advent Meditation series. I know I did. I always do. So, the title for today's Mystic Reflection is Theotokos. We are right in the middle of the feast day of Mary as Theotokos, which means God bearer. And what this points us to about her is the celebration of a human being pregnant with God and bearing God to the world. In some Christian traditions, she is esteemed as being worthy of what's called hyperdulia, and that is the most exalted form of devotion. You could use the word worship. I don't like that word as much. Now, when you hear that, it could be easy to say, oh, we're putting Mary on a pedestal. And in a way, we are, but not as we might think at a superficial glance. I believe what this feast is doing is inviting us in to an awakening of the exalted devotion to the aspects of our essential nature that are divinely feminine, that aspect of ourselves that is pregnant with God, that is the pulse of God, and that is bearing God to the world. So Mary is not there as something that is unattainable that we look at from afar, but rather she is a representation historically or archetypally or mythologically. She is a representation of an aspect of ourselves that is worthy of the most exalted devotion. Do you offer that to that part of yourself, that essential nature? Do you offer that to yourself? And if so, how can you continue? And if not, how can you begin? Bearing the divine into this world isn't just tactical, like what we're doing or how we're doing it, but rather is the stepping into the fullness of our being, the beingness of who and what we are, and then letting all our choices flow from that. What would happen if you spent a day celebrating yourself as Theotokos? What would it look like? How would you reflect about yourself? What sorts of practices would you observe? What's something special you could do to both realize this even more, explore it even more, or simply celebrate it? Now, as a fun play, I wanted to read a part of a poem that was written by an anonymous 14th century Carmelite nun. As many of you know, I was Carmelite. And she wrote a book of poetry called As Milk is Poured because she had a special relationship with Mary. Things of a child now set aside, my fondest hopes, my dreams, desires, my petty loves, all crucified. For I have suffered siege and fall, invasion more imperative than mighty rivers seaward tide. Exigent past all I might give, this inundated torrent swept across my soul, and only left abysses in me, voids that cried to be filled up. I did not know or guess this was the way she trod, who made in me a place for God. She set around my finity the freedom of the Holy One. O torrent, river, presence, flow and flow again, Mother of God, fecund with life to be in me, capacity, a place for God. Have a wonderful week, everyone.